Alright guys, here we are in my 2015 Mercedes-Benz C-Class, and I thought I would do a quick video on this Infotainment Android screen that we purchased probably about a year or so ago. And you'll see it booting up. So, depending on how long the car's been off for, it might do a slower boot or a longer boot. You'll see here, this is the longer boot. I do like how this screen, this loading animation looks very factory, even though this is the Android system that's booting up. And here you go, now we're into this. So firstly, this unit here costed me $300 US, and that includes free shipping, and I bought it from Aliexpress, and I'll put a link down below in the description so you can buy this unit if you want. The specs of this unit, it's got a 8-core CPU, 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage, it's a 12.3 inch screen, it's running Android 13, and it's a 720p resolution screen. Obviously it's a lot wider than your normal 720p screen, but that's the resolution. Right, install. Install was pretty easy. I've done quite a few of these before, but on Lexus cars, not many. This is my first Mercedes car that I've installed it on. I found this actually quite a lot easier compared to Lexus cars. You've got to remove, obviously, this whole piece here. This is the unit, and the cables, some run down through here. I've got a couple of USB-A cables that run down through here. And then you've got your audio cable that runs all the way down. It's an aux cable that runs all the way down here into a little module thing that converts it into a USB-A port. And the USB port is actually the media input that you use to listen to the audio from the system. Okay, so it uses your USB audio input. This thing has been incredibly reliable. It's been the most reliable aftermarket unit that I've ever installed in any car. The only thing that's been a bit funny would be Apple CarPlay, but even then, sorry, as in wireless Apple CarPlay, but even then, I'd say it only fails 1 out of every 50 times, maybe. It's seriously very reliable, and even a lot of factory car systems, their wireless CarPlay is also unreliable. So that's a pretty good reliability rate in my books. The ones that I've had in other cars, they've been way less reliable. Obviously, you've got your wide CarPlay option as well. I haven't tried Android Auto. I don't use it. I did try it once. A friend of mine, she had an Android phone that worked fine. But anyway, you can use wide CarPlay, and that thing works flawlessly. There's obviously no connection issues there as well. And the overall unit in general just works. Again, no issues booting and loading up and all that. Works really well. So if you press any of the buttons down here, so if I press the vehicle settings button, this is now what takes you back to the factory system. And to keep the resolution of the system great, it does have your Android system here on the side as well. You can show a few things here, but it's not really that useful. But I never really use this system anymore, right? Everything you need to do is all on the new Android unit. But this all works perfectly fine. That's nice and easy. So that's how you get back to the factory system. And to go back to the Android system, you just tap on the screen and you're back here again, and life is good. Now, the reverse camera, there's a slight delay to the reverse camera. If I push that into reverse, you'll see there's a reverse camera there. Everything all works fine, of course. And then I go back into park, and boom, she's back. So, again, really good. I've had other cars in the past where I've installed a unit and the reverse camera is just a nightmare to get working with an aftermarket system, and this works perfectly. Okay, control. So again, what's really cool, what I love about this is that you can use the touchscreen, of course, but you can also use down here your normal scrolly wheel, or you can use the, sorry, there's a big plane coming along. Can you see it? Yeah. So yeah, you can use this, and I love that, honestly, because that's the best setup. Knowing that you can use this when you're driving along, this is sometimes easier to use than a touchscreen, especially being such a large touchscreen. You know, you've got to like rest your hand on it to use it. So this is where this comes into handy. Comes handy. Now, one annoying thing, and this is actually a problem of the car and not really a problem. I'm just close that because it's a bit loud up there. This is more of a problem of the car than a problem of this unit. And that is the fact that there's no skip button, as you know, in this car. You can't use these because you've got to go, if you go into here, into media, of course, it just says USB aux. You can't change the song there. And as you know, there's no skip button down here as well. The only thing you can use is this button down here. Now, if you're in the factory system, this will pull up a little menu, but in this, if I go to music, and let's find, need an album with 2 songs in it. I'll just go songs, shuffle. Right, now if I press this button here, you'll see this is actually a next track song. So, sorry, next track button. So really handy that you can press that. The only annoying thing is that my wife, she'll have her arm rested down here, and then I kind of have to like rudely, you know, push her off so I can press this button. So, but that is purely a problem of this, of the design of this car. It's not to do with this, with this unit. Air conditioning, in case you're wondering, you can't see your aircon stuff there, right? But if you press any of the climate control buttons, it does bring up this little screen here, which is fantastic. It's nice being able to do that without having to go to the factory system. Now, this is a glossy finish screen, which means you're going to see reflections really clearly and a lot of glare. It's quite annoying. It's not the worst thing in the world, but if it is bright and sunny, you know, you are going to see the reflections a bit more. A lot of modern screens have a matte finish to get rid of the glare and all of that, but I don't know how obvious it is, but yeah, it's quite a reflective screen. So hopefully next time they design these, they'll make it with a matte finish. Now, you may have noticed it's a little bit laggy, particularly CarPlay. So you can see, it's not too bad, but if you look at that, you see there's quite a bit of lag. I don't mind it too much because the fact that I've got CarPlay on a big screen is already a massive bonus, especially for a car that's more than 10 years old now. If I go back to the Android system here, you'll see this is a bit more fluid, a bit more responsive. So CarPlay just seems to run a bit more, you know, slower. So now, if it was me, I would have, if I was to buy this again, I would opt for the faster processor, and I would have given up the space. I don't need 128 gigs of storage on this thing. 64 gigs would have been fine. Sound quality is a lot better than I thought it would be, because unfortunately, you know, using the aux, going through aux and then through USB means the quality gets degraded. It goes digital to analog, back to digital again, and but it was better than I thought it would be. Maybe if you're an audiophile and you have the Burmester sound system, you know, you might find it a bit annoying, but honestly, it's better than I thought it would be for a signal like that. That's pretty much it, to be honest. Regrets and overall thoughts. Again, I think this is a massive step up from the factory system, which obviously isn't touchscreen, that doesn't have Apple CarPlay. Well, unless you have a facelift, you might get Apple CarPlay. But this just adds so much more features to your car, of course. I do have under the apps here, like I've got YouTube installed, and I can watch YouTube on that, which is nice. You can store your videos and stuff on here. So you know, again, it's like any Android unit, I guess. But yeah, a massive game changer from the factory system. And yeah, I would buy it with a faster processor. So overall, very happy, and been very happy with the reliability. So again, have a look down below in the description for the link if you're keen to buy it. To be honest, this is the same unit that's probably sold on 1,000 different websites, on eBay, Aliexpress, Temu, whatever. They're pretty much all the same unit. And one thing that's really important is that I had a couple of questions about things. Like, for example, when I tried calling, I had issues with calling, but it turned out that it was because I had Bluetooth connected to both the car and this unit, and it didn't know which one to use. So I just got in touch with the seller, and they were very prompt to get back, and I managed to, you know, fix it, of course. So I think it is important buying these from a place where they are responsive, because you will have the odd question here and there, and if they just ignore you, that's a pain. But these guys who I bought it from, thankfully, were really good. So anyway, there you go. Hopefully this was a helpful video, and if you have any questions, you know, put it down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.